Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the May 12th meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit Board of Directors. Director Rodriguez will be attending as an alternate for Director Cerna. And I'd like to have our clerk do the roll call so we can establish a quorum and read the Metro Cable replay statement as well.
Okay, Director Brewer?
Present.
Director Budge? Director Dickinson is absent. Director Hume is absent. Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Maple
She's in the bathroom.
is absent. Director Werba?
Here.
Director Schaefer?
Here.
And Director Rodriguez?
Here.
Director Singh Allen?
Here.
And Chair Jennings.
Here.
With that, we have a quorum of 8 votes, and this meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel, on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Thursday, May 15th at 9 a.m. and Saturday, May 17th at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to myself or Adam. Once the item has been called, no additional speaker cards will be accepted. Time allowed for public comment is at the chair's discretion. The timer will chime when you have 20 seconds and then again when your time is up. There was no written public comment for today's agenda. And that's all.
Thank you very much. If you're able, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have an incredible crowd here tonight, and I am excited that you are here. Thank you for coming. I'd like to, it has been requested that we change the agenda to hear item 3.1 first. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. All right, so 3.1 is the employee and retiree recognitions. These are recognitions for the first quarter of 2025. And Shelley Valenta will present this item.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Shelley Valentin, Deputy CEO, and you can tell we have a full house today, and it's for a very good reason. Today is the first time we will be starting our employee recognition program for employees of the year or the quarter, years of service, and our retirements. Employee engagement is one of our 4 guiding pillars, which is why we have regular events such as town halls with food trucks, holiday celebrations, and an annual Transit Employee Appreciation Day, just to name a few. Employee recognition is really part of our culture here at SAC-RT, and the results are evident from our high employee retention rate and average tenure, and our outstanding employee satisfaction survey results. We truly appreciate our long-tenured employees and recent retirees for their institutional knowledge, dedication, and commitment to the organization, as well as our everyday heroes, our superstars, coming from different parts of the organization who quietly do the work and play an important role in fulfilling our mission. We want to honor them today through our new Employee of the Quarter program. And we thank Chair Jennings, who at the beginning of his term told staff that he would love to see more SAC-RT employees being acknowledged during our board meetings, and therefore we bring our employee recognition program to you today, and we will start doing that at an annual basis, or every quarter, every year. So let's start with our years of service recognition. Okay, so we actually celebrate milestones from 5 years of service onwards, but tonight, in the interest of time, we would like to recognize employees with 20 years or more of service, starting with January of this year. And if we can please have Chair Jennings, Vice Chair Singh Allen, and Henry up to the front right here to have the recognition plaque and a picture with our employees, as we call them name. That'll be great. Do you mind standing right in front of the dais, please? Okay, so let's first give a round of applause to those names of employees who you see here from 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and 35 years of service. And we have all invited them to be here tonight. Unfortunately, some of them actually took the time to be here, so we would love to recognize them. As I call on your name, please come on up and receive your plaque and have a picture with our chair, vice chair, and GM. First off, Sangeeta Arya, Senior Systems Engineer, 20 years. Where is our certificate? We'll have a group picture afterwards. Congratulations, Sangeeta. Second is Cosme Godoy Cornejo, a bus operator, 20 years. Congratulations. Next is Mike Fitzpatrick, Director of Scheduling, 25 years. Thank you. Then we have Joe Pagliaroni, Senior Grants Analyst, 20 years. And then this name is familiar, Devra Selenis, VP Communications for 20 years. And I'm not sure if she made it. Jacqueline Whitaker for 20 years. Is she here? Awesome. Bus operator for 20 years. If you could have everyone, and while we're doing that, I just want to give a special mention to an employee, Ahmed Morris, a bus operator who reached his 20-year milestone before sadly passing away in January. Thank you. So if you could please stay there, Vice Chair Singh Allen and Director Jennings. We have our retirement recognitions too. Where's Henry? SACRT also honors the following employees who retired during the period of January to March 2025 after 20 years or more of service to SACRT. Let me put their names out there. And here you are on the list. We have several of them. If you could all give them a round of applause. And we also invited them here tonight. Some of them are probably busy sipping their piña colada somewhere by the beach. But 3 of them are here, so we would like to thank them for taking a break from their retirement and joining us. First off, we have Michael Cormay, our former Director of Light Rail Maintenance for 24 years.
What's that?
Good to see you again, Mike. Congratulations. Next off, Danai Lambert, Light Rail Transportation Supervisor, 21 years. And then we have Tracy Windsor, who retired after 30 years as a bus operator. Unfortunately, he can't be here today, but his lovely wife is here to receive his award. Congratulations, Wendell. And I have someone who just told me that unfortunately he retired last year. We started our count from January, but I want to recognize him because he's here. Adam Ellis retired after 26 years in July last year. All right, just a quick group picture, please.
We'll get it.
Thank you. We still need you, Chair and Vice Chair. Give us 1 minute. There's one more round. For our final recognition, I am pleased to present our first ever Employees of the Quarter. SACRT launched this program to recognize and celebrate outstanding employees who consistently demonstrate exceptional performance, embody SACRT's core values, and make a meaningful impact on both the workplace and the communities that we serve. After a rigorous nomination and selection process, each quarter, one employee from the following categories is selected: administrative employees, operators, and maintenance and facilities employees. The employees of the quarter will qualify to be selected as one of our 2025 Employee of the Year coming up. And here are employees of the quarter for the period January to March 2025, starting off with our administrative category, Brenda Lyman. And here to present is Jason with Wendy Mutong.
Brenda Limon has proven herself to consistently be an outstanding employee, but her efforts in the last quarter were truly exceptional. During payroll's busiest time of year and amidst numerous departmental vacancies, Brenda stepped up without hesitation or complaint to ensure that over 2,500 employees and retirees not only receive their regular scheduled payments, but also each of their tax reporting documents. She works hard to maintain good relationships with her peers and collaborative processes throughout the organization. She is respectful and understanding when communicating with others, even when dealing with escalated matters. She strives not only to do her best, but to also help others operate in the spirit of excellence. We are all very appreciative of her efforts. So it is my pleasure to present for recognition as Administrative Employee of the Quarter, Brenda Limon, Payroll Analyst Finalist. Payroll Analyst Finalist.
Please join us. You have to join them too. For the category of operators, we have Elk Grove Bus Operator Benjamin Levy, and here is Blanca Arojo and Connie Dumas presenting.
Okay. Benjamin Levi is an Elk Grove operator that shows up early every day, ready to go with a great attitude. He consistently steps up to help new hires, offers support without being asked, and looks for ways to improve our experience for both his coworkers and our riders. One of the things that stands out about Benjamin is how solution-oriented he is. He just doesn't point out problems. He finds ways to fix them, whether it's creating quick references cards with customer service and app information for passengers, or making flashcards to help new hires log into our systems. He's always thinking ahead and looking for ways to make things better. Thank you, Benjamin, for all that you do. This recognition is well-earned and well-deserved.
Thank you. So final category, our maintenance and facilities employees winner is rail maintenance worker Pao Lor. Pao is very appreciative of the award, but he's a little shy. So we went to his workplace last night from his 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift, and here is the picture of him recognized with his award. And I think he also deserves to be recognized. So Blanca, if you could just say a few words.
Okay. In the last quarter, Mr. Powell has really stepped up, taking on additional work and supporting several important projects. Whether leading crews or jumping in to assist where needed, he's shown that he's dependable and committed to the success of the team. He leads by example, he communicates well with his peers and supervisors, and offers guidance for his crew and works closely with other departments to help the job done. His strong focus and collaboration and safety has made a real difference. Even though he couldn't be here today, we want to recognize his contributions and thank him for the positive impact he continues to make at SACRT. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our employee recognitions. We'll see you again in the next quarter.
Before we end this, everyone that got recognized today, all of us who were here to applaud them, let's give them a standing round of applause.
And Chair,
Okay, we'll wait a few minutes while the room is being cleared.
there was one public comment on that. Helen wanted to do public comment on that. Chair Jennings,
Yes, please.
there was one public comment from Helen O'Connell on that item.
Okay, let's have that public comment, please. Helen, how are you doing tonight?
I'm trying. Good evening, board and members of the public. I am very appreciative of the recognition for all the hard work that people have done for this organization for 20 plus years. They have been reliable and helpful, and I especially want to thank the people that are on the front lines, like the operators. It is important, and I'm very glad to see that the board has prioritized recognition of their staff in different departments, because if you don't tell us, we don't know. So I'm just glad that we were able to recognize these people in this way today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. How true a statement that is. If you don't tell them, we won't know. So I'd like to open it up to the directors for any comments on this item.
I do. I just want to commend the leadership for recognizing individuals who give so much to an organization, and for the investment that is made from RT into these individuals. I think it says a lot about being a great place to work. And I mean, these people have worked here a long time, and so I commend you for that.
Fantastic.
And same. So I won't belabor it, but I completely agree. And I just really want to thank you, Chair and Vice Chair, for making this a priority, because I think putting in 20 or 30 or 35 years, as I saw in there, it means a lot to this organization and to this community. But it's important that we also show them that we care. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. Others? I see you. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Okay. I think this is one of the most important things that we can do as an organization. The foundation of Sacramento Regional Transit are their people, and the more we invest in the people, the more return we get back. And so everyone that came up, I looked at the smile that was on their face and the joy that was in their heart. And I grabbed a little bit for myself and for all my colleagues. And so I hope that they were appreciative of what we've done. And if there's more that we can do in order to honor and recognize, please let us know. But Henry, to you and your staff, great job. This is our first. It will not be our last. All right? Good. All right, we will move to the consent calendar, item number 2.1 through 2.11.
I'd like to move consent.
It's been moved in second. Are there any? Oh, wow thing. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Reminder, check the phone.
Are there any director questions, public comments, or director comments? Are there any public comments?
We have Jeffrey Tartagia on item 2.6.
Okay, 2.6. We'll take that now if Jeffrey's still here.
He went that way. When they started the employee recognition.
Don't see him.
Okay, there's, Jeffrey Tartagia is no longer here.
Okay. So no other public comment?
No other public comment.
All right, with that, all in favor of moving the item forward?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? We are unanimous as a board. All right. We will now move to item 4.1. And would the clerk please announce the item?
Okay, at this time, we will open the public hearing. We have item 4.1, public hearing preliminary fiscal year 2025-2026 operating and capital budgets. We will accept public comment on the Sacramento Regional Transit District preliminary FY 2025-2026 operating and capital budget, and then have a motion to continue the public hearing to June 9th of 2025. And Jason Johnson is here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Chair Jennings and members of the board. Today, staff is presenting a draft balanced budget for fiscal year 2026 for your consideration. Some of the strategies and assumptions that guided the budget process, Some of the strategies and assumptions that guided the budget process are that services are budgeted without reductions, and despite half of the transit agencies nationwide facing potential service cuts, we are doing so. The budget will support strategic priorities of customers first and business optimization. We also have SB 125 and flexible federal funding being used to close budget gaps. There are also no reductions to staff plan for fiscal year 26 and no fair rate adjustments. The fiscal year 26 budget is relatively flat compared to 2025, with an overall decrease of approximately $725,000. Salaries and benefits typically increase by about 5% annually. However, that increase is only 0.6% this year, in large part due to the projected savings of approximately $9 million from the transition of Smart Ride to SAC-RT Flex. Decreases in LTF and SB 125 revenues were offset by increases in fair revenues and returns on investments, with flexible federal funds used to close the remaining budgetary gap. I also want to note that our credit rating with Moody's was recently reaffirmed as A2, and while not directly impacting our investment returns, which are projected to increase by approximately $2.5 million next year, it does help with our overall financial position. These charts show a slightly different breakdown of the revenues by funding source. Of significance is the exhaustion of the last of the COVID-19 relief funds, with a final $7.8 million expended in fiscal year 2025. We also see the reduction in state assistance, with less LTF and SB 125 funds available in fiscal year 26. While the distribution of funding is generally consistent from year to year, this has created a significant shift between state and federal funding as a percentage of total operating revenues. And we are now using more of the flexible federal funding to close budgetary gaps, as I have noted. Each year, staff provides a summary view of our service delivery breakdown, primarily to show that the majority of the operating budget goes directly to operations and falls within industry standards. Historically, we've been between 75% and 80%. Also of note, over a third, $25 million of the administrative costs is related to insurance expenditures, which is a slight reduction from the FY25 budget and highlights not only the efforts of the risk management team, but the entire organization. For the April and May draft budgets, staff typically presents only the capital budget additions. However, a full listing of all currently approved capital projects is included in the budget document. This year's additions total $53 million, with the majority related to light rail projects which have already been funded. These additions will bring the total approximate cost of all approved capital projects to $2.08 billion, with approximately $1.3 billion funded at this time. Over the last few years, we have viewed the regional economy as stable, but we have recently changed the outlook to uncertain based on the most current data available and a projected slowing of growth in the economic region. The Sacramento area GDP has increased each year since the pandemic. However, overall California GDP is expected to grow by approximately only 2% in 2026, compared to 6% in 2024. Our fare revenues are projected to grow, especially as more state employees are returning to the office. Additionally, as part of the comprehensive operational analysis in process, one of the goals is to improve our fare box recovery ratio to support long-term fiscal health. Staff continues to work on the budget throughout the year to ensure SAC-RT not only has sufficient funding for operations, but also to maximize the outcomes of all expenditures. Today is the first of 2 public hearings, with staff bringing the final proposed budget to the board for adoption at the June 9th meeting. I want to thank the board for their guidance, Henry and the executive management team for their innovation and support, staff throughout the organization for their collaboration during an oft-challenging budget process, and the public for their engagement and feedback. I also want to recognize the exceptional efforts of our budget team and all of finance. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We will entertain questions and comments from the public first.
We have Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeffrey Tartagia, an advocate, RT ambassador, and various other things. I want to thank for in the budget that you included both the percentages and the dollar amounts. That was appreciated from last year. That is there for as far as the numbers and everything else. 2 things I don't note is where is dealing with the amount of bus, should we say, what is it called? Shuttle services. I believe it's somewhere included in the budget, but where that line item is at, because you've had to use, i.e. today, you had to use a bus bridge from 13th Street out to Sac Valley Station. How often that goes on, and what is the total amount that is that in the budget? I know it's not significant, but it's repeatedly, and I think for the purpose of the comprehensive overview, it would be helpful to have those numbers available and out there. The other thing I observe and see is you've included, as far as operational budget, and now the $2 billion estimate for the capital budget. You said the operational budget was $200 million. Is that correct? I'm sorry, I may have missed that in what I observed over your slides. Anyway, that's my questions.
Just to be clear, the operational budget sits at about $267 million right now.
Next, we have Dan Allison.
Good afternoon. Dan Allison speaking on behalf of Sacramento Transit Advocates and Riders, STAR. We have several comments about the budget. One is the staff report contains information that we think should be in the budget document, not just in the staff report. The budget should be up front in the document, not at the end. It doesn't even start until halfway through the document. So somebody looking at it would wonder, is this a budget or not? The state and local revenue really needs to be broken out by local and state separately. In the graphic just presented, it is broken out, but it's not broken out in this budget. Measure A is critically important, both to SAC-RT currently, and also for the potential for a new transportation sales tax measure. And to not call it out as separate from state seems to me to be a mistake. Fare revenue should be separated out by fare box recovery versus all the other income sources that relate to fares. A question that all of the advocacy organizations continually ask is it worth collecting fares? How much are we getting? How much is it costing? We can't answer that question from the budget. We believe that it's critical in setting the direction for SAC-RT to know how the different major services compare to each other with expenditures and incomes. Fixed route bus service, light rail, flex, and SAC-RT Go. There's no information in this budget document that indicates anything about how those services compare. And we last year made a number of suggestions to staff about things that would help the public understand. And unfortunately, this abridged document or preliminary document is the same, basically the same as last year. We realize a lot more information shows up in the final budget. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Coco Cocazella.
Hi, Coco Cocazella, also Sacramento Transit advocates and writers. I'm focusing more on the capital portion of the budget. And as I read it over, well, I'd like to echo something that Dan said, first of all, which is there's not a lot of information, and you'll see what I'm thinking as I speak more, about how to produce actionable and reasonable recommendations as to how you would do risk management should something not go right in the capital budget. So, meaning getting funding. So, but I'm wondering whether it would be great next year to just skip to the final budget and not do this kind of preliminary one, so we could get all the information up front and potentially not ask questions that will be answered. When I read the document, I see a lot of tallies of budgets that things that are funded, things that are going to get funding that is expected, and also TBD. The TBD column for active projects is about 200 million. So when I look at that, I'm thinking again, risk management. How are we deciding? So should something go wrong in that TBD column, what we would cull? I don't get a sense of the prioritization of these projects for capital, and that would be great. I think one way that we get a sense of the prioritization is to have for each line item a little blurb, and some of the line items do have blurbs, not all of them. I think it should be more formulaic. How does this line item tie into the strategic goal of the organization? What have we spent already? What would happen if we had huge allocations but were not able to finish getting the allocations that are required for this project?
Time is up.
Okay. I'll finish that later in the next comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Coco.
And next, we have Helen O'Connell.
Good evening again. I've been thinking about this a lot because, like I've mentioned to the board before, the capital projects are wonderful. Henry has done a very good job of bringing in large sums of money to build up infrastructure. But as we've seen, we have good employees. We have people that care. It becomes very difficult to deal with situations when people that work hard are not compensated at the rate that they should be. A lot of the different union organizations that are in RT. They say, our part needs this much, our part needs that much. I really think that we should have across the board, if you're working for RT, your benefits packages should be the same, whether you're working for big bus or little bus or round bus or train. All the employees should have equal, okay? It shouldn't be parted out. And it's difficult to tell in the budget which part goes to which part. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
That's all the public comment.
I'd like to move to our directors for public comment or questions. Director Dickinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question on the capital budget. I'm one who for many, many years has been an advocate for real-time information at our stations, both actually on our shelters, buses, and rail. And I don't see that. Is it here? And I just didn't.
Yes, I'm going to.
Can you tell me what it's under? Because I couldn't spot it.
We're looking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's going to out for bid for the project. So the funding is there.
Okay, I trust you, but where is it in the?
She's looking. She's
Okay.
looking for.
Okay, all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, while we wait on that, we'll go to other directors. Director Maple.
Thank you, Chair. And just want to appreciate you for the presentation. And I heard definitely agree with some of the comments that I heard about making sure that there's the information in there so that the public and us, we can make the decisions and understand what's happening. I know this is preliminary. And then I also heard, oh, maybe we just do the full budget at the end. And I think this is probably, I've only been on here for 2.5 years or so, but I'm sure there's probably a long history of the timing of when we release certain budgets and what information people want to see at what time. And so I know it's an iterative process and just really appreciate how transparent RT and our staff is about bringing things forward and allowing the public to be able to weigh in at all steps in the process. And so just take that always as we appreciate the feedback and we really do want to implement it, make sure that people can understand. One of the questions that I have is around the projects that are funded and then the gaps. So I know that there's about a $10 million gap for the Sac Valley Station Loop project and then a $9.5 million gap for the Dos Rios Station. Do I have those numbers correct? I think that's right.
Yes.
I know, I just really appreciate those being priorities in the budget, and I know that this body cares about those, but my question is around the SB 125 funding and how, if there's a plan for the unfunded or the money that's going to SACOG for SB 125, that remaining fund, could that be used potentially for those project gaps?
So we're in discussions with SACOG at this time. We've got the allocation for next year, and then we've got a preliminary amount that's being allocated to the following year for operations. That additional funding can be applied for. That hasn't been decided. So we have an opportunity to apply for it for certain projects, but then it'd be competitive process most likely.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's good to know. And I just want to say it out loud from my perspective that I think those are two really important projects and would love to see those be projects that we maybe bring forth for some of that funding. And just thank you.
Any other directors? Okay. Okay. With that being said, this item is to accept the public comment tonight and to take a motion to continue to the public hearing on June 9th, since this is a hearing that requires 2 meetings. Is that correct? So I'd be looking for a motion.
Second.
You have a comment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say, we have 2 or 3, public community leaders mentioned about the details, of the budget. Those details are actually in the document. There's how many pages? But 40-some pages. However, the format may not be exactly what our community partners they would like us to do. So we're going to take a look at this, how we can we change based on the format, the regular standards. So yeah, just want to say information is there, just to how we present the way.
Go ahead.
Thank you for that, Henry. Might I suggest that you specifically reach out to Mr. Elson, since he seems to have some very specific ideas?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And then also, will most of the questions have the opportunity to be answered before our next meeting on June 9th?
Yes, definitely.
Quick question. Have we received any emails or anything or any other concerns from the public outside of the comments we heard this evening?
So far, no.
So for formatting, my suggestion is to make sure that, with all due respect, I appreciate feedback on formatting, but then will that trigger something else?
We can look at that.
So just be mindful that,
Yeah. That's standard as the formatting requirements.
Correct.
But for the information communication with our public, members, we need to be mindful how we can, better.
Yeah, we want it to be transparent and something that's very easy to understand, but then also be mindful of how you choose to present it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm looking for a motion to accept public comment we've received today and to continue the public hearing to June 9th.
Second.
Moved and second?
We had our motion already.
Any questions?
We did.
All right, we got two. All right, I'm
Everybody agrees.
trying to get to the first one. Who had the first one?
I did the
All right,
first one.
cool. All right,
It's all
so
good.
however the clerk writes it down.
I have
That's
it
the
as
correct one.
Director Singh Allen and Director Budge.
There you go. All right. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose, abstain. Let the record show we are unanimous. Thank you. Next item, please.
The next item, public addresses board on matters not on the agenda. We have Jeffrey Tartagia.
Jeffrey Tartagia. As an advocate, what I want to, in complimenting whereas you had it dealing with employees through here, this morning I had trying to take a trip on the 88 bus. And your system now, new layout said there it was scheduled. Fortunately, you picked up a driver, so I was able to get to my destination, not waiting another hour to grab onto the bus. I want to express an appreciation for that, thankful of filling in. Also finding out where the bus cancellations are occurring at and getting that understanding. Now, the other thing also happened is apparently on the bus route number 11 and the bus 13, if I understand correctly, you've now made an adjustment which detours around a bus stop. This is again something I learned from your drivers, and I'm not sure how you are transmitting that to the ridership for those two bus routes. I believe you may have put apps out there. I just would like to confirm that, because what also last year observed in the hottest month we had one, should we say on the 51, should we say cancellation of a, should we say, wheelchair occurring every single day in the month of July that we had that. I don't know whether that's going to be maintained this year or not, but it's something that I consider is important, that you consider in the future what is going on and happening with your ridership. Also want to complain for the last 30 seconds here is you just did a bus or a survey I picked up on the light rail. It didn't answer the question about whether you had wheelchairs aboard, and it didn't specify what type of people
Time is up.
are riding.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Other
Next
public
we-
comment?
Next, we have Janet Kyriakopoulos. And then we have Robert Copeland.
Good evening, Janet.
My name is Janet Kyriakopoulos. Janet H. Kyriakopoulos, and I'm very grateful for the operators that on the RT bus and the light rail. I'm very grateful that I have them because there's sometimes the RT bus, since I got my new leg, sometimes I have a hard time trying to get on the bus, but the drivers are so wonderful for me. They help me to get on the bus and clip me down. And the other thing that I really want to learn is how to take the bus because I live right there off Broadway. I live right there on First Avenue. And then I go to my kidney dialysis on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And I wish I could have a straight ride to get to the DCI because it's just 3 minutes away. And sometimes I don't have a power chair. My power chair is broken, and sometimes I'm struggling with this leg. And I wish I had a straight ride just to take me there. I know I go with a parent transit, but a bus that goes right there down, I take the 68 and I get off right there on the, on 38. I get 68, I get off right there at the disabled, for the McDonald's, and then I walk right to the kidney dialysis right through the back streets. And I wish I just had a bus that just leaves me right there in front of it, instead of going all around my triangle. Well, I'm grateful that you all are good operators that took care of me from this day. And I've been with the program, but since I've been going to kidney dialysis, I've been missing all the meetings. And I had a free day today to come and thank you all for helping me, to pick me up on the day of my rides and put me in that bus, and back home I get back. Thank you very much.
Thank you for letting your voice be heard. Appreciate that.
We have Robert Copeland and then Helen O'Connell.
While I was walking to this very meeting, I saw a light rail train across the street. I mean, blocking traffic. That should not happen. I've seen it more than one time like that. The other time was on J Street, one of the busiest streets in downtown. That's not acceptable to me. And also, if we had like a sales tax increase, I'd like to see more buses run later, more bus routes, cheaper fares so people can actually be on the buses. Because I heard Highway 50 and sometimes it is a madhouse to navigate that highway. And also, parking downtown is terrible. Thank you.
Thank you. Helen?
I was made aware that the whole organization is going through kind of restructuring. People have been moved around, and I'm trying to be polite. But during that transitional phase, what do people do that used to be able to pick up the phone when the first line of defense wasn't working, the second line of defense wasn't working, and then we had to go to the third line of defense just to get emergency information to find out, how can I get this ride if they've canceled the ride 30 seconds before I got on the bus. I have a very specific thing, so I'm going to try to generalize it. The infrastructure at RT right now is changing rapidly, RT-GO specifically, and we need public information better disseminated so that we'll know what the hierarchy is. I mean, yes, you deal with the dispatchers, and then we can go to their supervisors, but who's next? Everything got changed, and the information's not out there. So that could be a problem for people that are stuck waiting for RT-GO for 2-3 hours when dialysis patients need to get home a lot sooner. their health is at risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. You have somebody speak with her about this?
Yes, yes.
It'd be helpful. Any more public comment?
There's no more public comment.
Okay. Then would you present the item in new business on to 6.1?
Yes. Item 6.1, Resolution 2025-05049, denying True View BSI LLC's protest and awarding a contract for pre-employment background investigation services to Employers Choice Online, Inc., DBA Employers Choice Screening / Compliance Training Group. There's no presentation on this item. The information is included in the staff report, and staff is available to answer questions.
Okay. Are you looking for any directors with questions on this matter? Looking to my left, I'm looking to my right. Do we have any public comment on this matter?
Helen O'Connell.
I'm sorry, I forgot about this one. I'm very grateful that you guys are being diligent in doing the background checks and the investigations and taking the best person for the job. But how much are we paying these people to do this process? And could this process be in-house instead of third-party vendor? It appears to me that RT is trying to really cut the bottom line by getting third-party vendors for things that may be able to be handled in-house, and eliminating some of the legal responsibilities of certain things, i.e. The third-party thing with FlexRide. If FlexRide has a problem or somebody gets hit because it's a rear entry vehicle, RT technically is not responsible because it's a third-party vendor. That bothers me. I don't know. A rear entry vehicle is unsafe because the people have to go out into traffic with assistive devices to get onto the vehicle. So, and third-party vendors have different insurances and requirements. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the only comment.
Directors, any comments or questions? Seeing
I
none,
move that
hearing none,
we-
is there a motion?
I move that we adopt the resolution 2025-05-049.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Without any further questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? It is unanimous of this board. Okay, let's move to item 7.0, the 7.1, the General Manager's Report.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
And the public. Thank you for joining us. And let's do the presentation. Where's my pen? Okay. Next one. I'm going to cut this short, so I'm going to skip some slides. Next one, please. Next one. Next one. Okay, here. So last week, as part of the Sacramento Capital Cap delegation, SACAD had the pleasure of participating in some advocacy meetings in Washington, D.C. on Monday. Chair Jennings, Director Brew, and Director Robert, Deborah and I met with FTA new acting administrator. We are the second transit agency to meet with him, and he's just on board. And also we met with Executive Director Matt Weber. We had a truly wonderful discussion. It was scheduled for 30 minutes, but the administrator gave us over 45 minutes. And really thanks to, next slide, please, Congresswoman and her team's guidance and instruction in the preparation of this 2-page document, which we went through with FTA. The FTA team was very impressed with our right-free program and other achievements, and also gave us excellent feedback. Chair Jennings and Director Blow and Robert made some very excellent speeches or comments by emphasizing how SACRT has effectively united the region in a bipartisan and collective manner. Because of this very positive discussion, the new administrator indicated he would like to visit Sacramento in the future after he gets settled in. And this is a very unique time. We need to build even better partnership with our FTA because the funding, future funding actually is very uncertain. Then, next slide, please. I'm not going to do these slides, and we share the actual 2-page document with our board members here. Last Monday, the meeting was FTA. Then on Tuesday, we had the opportunity to meet with the White House. Chair Jennings, Vice Chair Shin Allen, Director Schaefer, Brewer, and Robert, along with Supervisor Richard Desmer and a very famous affordable housing developer, Michael Johnson, all attended this meeting in White House. We met with Christine Glasser, Special Assistant to the President for Intergovernmental Affairs. Actually, our Board Director, Pat Hill, met with her about 3-4 weeks ago. And Mrs. Glasser actually met us for about 45 minutes and also gave us very positive feedback. Because we just shared that 2-page document. We let them know we have been focusing on efficiency, public trust, safety and security, promoting family, and investment on big, beautiful projects. On both President Trump first term and President Biden's term in the last 8 years. And they are extremely pleased with our presentation or the document, and we really want to appreciate the audience with the White House and the opportunity to discuss the important role transit plays in our communities. I really want to appreciate all board members for their tremendous advocacy and leadership to promote SACRT and this whole region. If you recall, 2 years ago, we met with FTA. We got a $45 million award. Last year, we met with FTA. We got a $77 million award. And hopefully, we can see some award this time. So that is the cap to cap, and this is a couple other meetings we attended. With that, I'm going to skip other slides, finish my report. Yes.
So, yeah, for all those who had the opportunity to go to cap and be involved in these meetings, I'd love for you to say a couple of things. I think
Sure.
it'd be good to speak.
You want to go first, or? Yeah, go for it.
I do appreciate you giving gratitude to the board members. It was a pleasure to be there on behalf of SACRT. But I do want to say that you guys made us look good with your document that you prepared, having our speaking notes, coordinating all of us to speak on certain items. while we all want to take credit, but I really want to give you guys back the credit. We were very well prepared, and you created an environment for us to shine, and I think for SAC-RT to shine. And in that first meeting we had on Monday with Tariq Bakari, did I say that? He was blown away by the Leave Behind, and that really set us up for success for Tuesday's meeting as well. So I appreciate the gratitude, but I want to give the entire staff that worked on these and for everything that SAC-RT has done in the last 10 years. You make it easy for us to represent you. So thank you to you guys.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to echo Director Roba's comments. Henry, you really have done, I said this in the meeting, and I just want to say this out loud in front of everyone, an amazing job. Really, bring the fiscal responsibility to this organization is tremendous. And obviously, I know you don't do it yourself, but you have a team, and you've assembled a team, and that makes us look good. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Outstanding.
I suppose I'll go next. Thank you. Thank you, Henry, for indulging me to begin with. When I had this idea of, we should really be reaching out to the White House. We want to show bipartisanship. We want to show a better way. The country is divided, but we want to show that our region, regardless of political affiliation, we can work together. And this is what government efficiency can look like. And so thank you for setting up those meetings. I want to thank Devra, I see you over there, putting together those talking points. I know that you played an instrumental role in there, and making sure that all of us had an opportunity to not only showcase, but we also got to bring in sort of our own stories, our own narrative, respective to each region, each city. Chair Jennings, of course, got to show off his Super Bowl ring, which we didn't have one of those. But it really helped sort of open the dialogue and break those barriers. So this was really an opportunity, honestly, it was for SAC-RT and our region to shine. And the Leave Behind, I will echo the same comments for my colleagues. This really told our story. And the story is that with government efficiency, with collaboration, with the monies that are being spent, very proud of the work that everybody is doing and proud to be a part of this team. I actually lost my voice there because I talked so much for 5 days, a lot of advocacy meetings. But this is truly an opportunity for all of us to shine. And you all made our jobs very easy. It was easy to come over there and tell the SAC-RT story. So thank you, every single one of you who played a role in this, setting this up, to our lobbyists back east. Everything. This was seamless, and very proud of the work. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Brewer.
So, no, definitely. I think everyone had said pretty much everything that needed to be said, but I think the story that you're able to help us tell, not only with the collaboration and teamwork as a region, from Folsom, Sacramento to Elk Grove, but also the narrative of building public trust, showing that public trust and having it manifest itself not only in these meetings, but we're able to sell that to our stakeholders who we were talking to. I think that was part of the reason why Tariq Bakari was blown away in the initial meeting. And in our meeting that we had with Christine Glassner on the second day, I think really helped crystallize everything and really set in the moment of why we were there. And for each of them to say that the Sacramento RT story really can be a blueprint, a standard for all of us to follow for other transit agencies really is a great starting point, and something we should definitely build upon in building our relationships with Washington, D.C. The entire RT team should really be commended, and definitely our Washington, D.C. representative, Julie Minerva, for making sure that we stayed focused and stayed on message was definitely a high point. So I definitely thank you, Henry, and thank the team for putting us in this position to win, because it was an all-around team effort.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, can I add just one comment? After these two meetings, and we got some feedback from FTA, they told me, Henry, you have the best board in the industry.
All right.
Can I add a couple more?
Yes, please.
Mr. Chair. I also want to recognize and thank, because they're not part of the board, Supervisor Rich Desmond, who played a critical role in the advocacy efforts at the White House, and as well as Michael Johnson, who's an affordable housing developer, who was able to really showcase the nexus between transit-oriented developments, affordable housing, and transportation. In the city of Elk Grove, he actually is developing the largest affordable housing project in our city, and it was great that he was able to attend the meetings and really be able to coordinate those efforts from all of the different aspects from affordable housing and transportation, which sometimes can get lost in the discussion. So I just wanted to recognize two other team members that are not here, but played a key role in accomplishing our goals. Thank you.
And I'll close it out. We did build public trust. We did work well together. Michael Johnson was a teammate of mine at the University of Maryland on my track team. I ran the first leg, he ran the second leg. And so it goes all the way back to 1972 through 76, the friendship that we have together. But we represented you well, and I just want you to know that because of the leadership of Henry and his entire staff, how well prepared we were, we represented you as a region, and we represented you well. And when I say that to you, when I can't find anything wrong that we did, I feel like, we hit the nail right on the head. And so I was very proud. I'm from Washington, D.C. That's my home. I go back there to see friends and family. And so to be able to go back and be able to have the impact that we had in the White House and at FTA, I had to pat my own self on the back. So anyway, it was, I just wanted you to hear what an incredible experience it was, and I'm confident that the results will come through for us based on the presentation that we made in front of all of those that were there. So again, thank you. Round of applause, please. Okay, next item, please.
There's 4 public comments on the general manager's report. We have Jeffrey Tartagia, Robert Copeland, Helen, and Coco.
Well, I guess you make me first on this part of public comment. And what I will offer you this is because I'm also a part of trust as well as other. We have done a number of things here in Sacramento that is not replicated across the country. So I hope both the MAC and the other elements, so it's not just the financial aspects, but the rest of the aspects that get transmitted around. We are very successful on the one front, but we need to keep it all continually put together. There are still flaws that needs to be worked on, and there are still elements that need to be cleared up. I hope some of you go to the public public transportation of SACOG. It's this Thursday. See, I can't go to that because it conflicts with my legislative committee with California Alliance of Retired Americans. But I will look at it back with the, thankfully, of having YouTube, just like this, just like with other meetings. So, Henry, I expect to meet you tomorrow, and we will see what further things we can come up with to deal with the future. And the other side of it I'll speak of is we need to get not just a sales tax, but we need to really find out how a property tax will fund the operational costs that are needed. Because with $2 billion of projects, that leaves an awful lot of operational costs that are needed.
Robert Copeland?
I am surprised it went very well because I don't trust the White House, to tell you the truth. Also, can we get a copy of the League Behind You presented to the FTA?
For you, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure Jeffrey wants one too, maybe Helen and some other people.
And next, Helen O'Connell.
I am glad that Sacramento and the adjacent regions have worked together. It's unusual for public agencies and public servants of different areas to come together for a common goal and actually achieve what they went out to do. So I'm very appreciative that this board has been extremely responsive to the regional needs of this area, and I would like to say that I wish more parts of public service areas would be as well coherent, cohesive as this board has been. That's a very important thing, that everybody's on the same page at the same time. So thank you for everyone that was involved in getting the information coherently across to the people that need to hear it most. I just have one question about the tap and ride. I haven't been able to find a place to send my friends that have discounts, that have to apply or supply information ahead of time, and then to be able to get their discounts when they ride any tap and ride position. I think people should, it should be out there a little more clear.
Time is up.
And available. Thank you.
Coco Cocazella.
Coco Cocazella. Yeah, so I heard a lot of interesting things here tonight. Directors who brought up the idea, the notion of building trust. Yes, I think it has affected me as a trust builder to know that we were so well represented at the highest level possible. It will also help someone like myself who's very detail oriented to think also more bottoms up. So Henry, in reports, I'd love to see, and this is sort of where I was trying to go with the budget risk management, knowing where we're at kind of thing. In the reports, I would love to see also bottoms up things like for Project A, when you give a project report, how much have we spent? What is the value that we've earned? Meaning, how much have we spent and how much work have we done, and did we earn the value that we expected to by this point? What would happen if we didn't get the TBD funding? These types of things may be kind of dry, but they're extremely important to help manage risk, and I think we're going into a world where risk is just mammoth. So, and if we do work together as a cohesive unit, which everyone here is saying, we need to get our hands dirty, our minds dirty in that information space. That's it. Thank you.
So Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I just want to respond to Coco's question. As Director Kennedy just told us earlier, we will set up a special meeting with you guys, and let's talk about all the details. I will make sure I will be there to answer any questions from all of you guys. Okay.
So that's the great thing about having these meetings, is we get a chance to understand what we're doing right and then things we can improve upon. And I think what I want you to always know about this board of directors is that we are always here to listen to you because we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So our objective is to listen twice as much as we talk. So if we don't do that, then we're not representing you well. But we hear you every single time you come here, and we will together develop solutions for whatever you see that's wrong with RT, because we will not live with RT going in the wrong direction. We will change that. And you have that from your chair and from this entire board of directors. We are committed to making the change that we all want to see. We want to get better. So thank you for pointing out the things that you think we can do better. I appreciate that. Okay? So anything else on this agenda?
So we have item number 8, reports, ideas, and questions from directors and communications.
Okay.
I want to share a little bit about a trip at Cap to Cap. I was able to go with SACOG to Alexandria, Virginia, and it was a one-day study mission on infill and the revitalization projects in suburban communities and commercial corridors. And we were able to actually use the metro and go to areas where they have transit and the housing that gets built around transit. And so I know Sacramento region is focusing on that, but to actually go out there and experience it and see it and walk it was really, to me, very profound. And one of the cities that I really enjoyed was the city of Falls Church, which, what was it? It was how they grew the cities, but also utilized BRT. And is that bus rapid transit? Yeah, and so it left me coming back with an interest to want to learn more about this in communities, because I've had many conversations with many of you that we continue to grow and we continue to develop, create development communities. However, we're not filling in that transit, and so it makes it very difficult to incorporate transit once the development's already done, as opposed to create transit as the development is being created. So it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it, and it made me just want to come back and really learn and be a part of how do we make that happen in our in our communities. Thank you. That's it.
That's great. Others? Okay.
Next, we have 13.1, our closed session item, public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. And this is for the general manager, CEO. And we do have one public comment on that item from Jeffrey Tartagia. And then if I could also ask after Jeffrey's comment if we could ask those not participating in the closed session to leave the room. So we're going to do the closed session in here.
My public comment here is, last year when you did this, there were still things that were missing. When you come back with a report, that's probably going to give him another raise because you think he's done an outstanding job. It's the things that are missing for the public, for the ridership, that you really need to focus on and give us back a complete report that just doesn't say, we're giving Henry a raise, but these are the objectives that he's achieved. These are the things that we still need to work on as a board, because you are the board that is supposed to direct and support what is going on and happening. And since I won't be there, I will just look forward to hearing from you report. One of the other comments on this is when you have the other type of reports is acknowledging when they're taking place and where they're taking place, realizing that's not been what's happened in the past. I'm talking about joint power reports, is you know when they take place, but the public does not. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. I'm going to announce that there will be no report out after closed session, and with no further business in front of this board, this meeting is adjourned.